Lesson 72, lines from experimental data, and it's actually negative angles as well. All right, so you can also add to the title, and negative angles. We are actually going to talk about experimental data more in class. We're not going to touch on that right now. Right now what I want to talk about is the negative angles aspect. All right, this is negative angles in terms of polar and rectangular coordinates. All right, so when we talk about angles in polar coordinates, we know that in talking about the angles, we always start at the positive x-axis and move counterclockwise. All right, we've been dealing with positive angles. Okay, so that's how we find the positive angles. All right, positive angles begin at the positive x-axis and move counterclockwise. Okay, or move left. Now we're going to be dealing with polar coordinates that they give us negative angles. All right, in order to find the negative angles, we still start at the positive x-axis, but instead of moving counterclockwise, we're going to be moving clockwise. All right, so negative angles begin at the positive x-axis and move clockwise. Other than that exception, every step in finding rectangular coordinates from polar coordinates is exactly the same. Okay, you still are connecting your triangle to the x-axis. You're still determining what that interior angle is, and you're solving for your sides. Right? The only difference is we have negative angles, and so we're going to be moving clockwise instead of counterclockwise in solving for them. All right, so let's look at an example. We are going to convert this polar coordinate. We have a vector length of 4 with an angle of negative 210 degrees. All right, we're going to convert this from polar coordinate to rectangular coordinate. All right, so the very first step, the same thing that we have been doing, is to draw out our graph. All right, and we've been finding the angle first. All right, normally we've been finding the positive angle by going counterclockwise from that positive x, but now we're going to be going clockwise. All right, so we're going clockwise negative 210 degrees. All right, so if I start moving from here to here is 90. If I keep going, I have 180. Somewhere right in here is going to be 210 degrees. All right, so since it's a negative angle, we start at the positive x and move clockwise. All right, and then I can draw my vector out. My vector length is still 4. Nothing changes. All right, and I'm going to connect my line segment to the x-axis. All right, so this side going up and down is going to be side U. This side going right to left is going to be side R. Now all I need to do is find my angle. We know from the positive x all the way over to here was 180. So we're looking for the difference between 180 and 210. All right, the difference is going to be 30, so my angle is 30 degrees. From there, we go about the same steps in solving for R and for U. All right, we're going to use our sine and cosine functions. Now, for sine, we're going to do the opposite, so that's going to be side U. All right, so we're going to be doing the sine of 30 is equal to the opposite, which is U, over the hypotenuse, which is 4. And in order to solve for U, we do 4 times the sine of 30. All right? Well, 4 times the sine of 30 is 2. All right, so side U is 2. All right, then in order to find R, we're going to be doing the cosine. So we have the cosine of 30 degrees. That's equal to the adjacent side, which is side R, over the hypotenuse, which is 4. And again, to find R, we do 4 times the cosine of 30. And that will give us 3.46. All right. Now we just need to determine if they're positive or negative and rewrite them as polar coordinates. or as rectangular coordinates, excuse me. All right, so in rectangular coordinates, we write the r value first. Notice that the r is on the negative axis, so r is going to be negative, so we have negative 3.46 r. And notice that u is positive because it's on the positive y-axis, so it's going to be plus 2u. And that is our polar coordinates to rectangular coordinates. All right, this next one I'm going to have you try on your own. Again, the only difference is finding that angle. All right, so let's look at this one. We have a vector of 5 with an angle of negative 230 degrees. All right, a vector of 5 with an angle of negative 230. Go ahead and try to solve that one on your own. Work all the way through it in changing it to rectangular coordinates, and we will check it in class.